Let's take a look around a former RAF airbase. It's Silverstone, 3.660 miles, 18 turns, and some of the best corners on the planet. It's Bethlehem for Formula One. This is where it all started in 1950. Get a good exit out of the last corner club, across the line and hurtle down towards turn 1 in Abbey. 8th gear flat out, lift over to 7th, then just coast down towards farm, back to full throttle. First heavy wheel braking spot down all the way, 3rd gear into village. Too tight left-handers coming up, the loop as well, which opens up the throttle slightly before a fast attack into Aintree. DRS open as you enter down the Wellington Straight towards Brooklands, reaching maximum RPM as well. Fly the car in 5th gear, control the acceleration as well, through Brooklands into Lovefield, double apex corner as well. Be careful not to make the car slide out as well, and attack through a long sweeping right across the National Start Straight at Woodcote. Next up, it's the fearsome Cops corner. If you can take it flat out, perfect, but don't be afraid to brake and lift down to 7th gear. Attack back to full throttle for the first 2 parts of the Maggots-Beckett's complex. Flat out before lifting slightly as well, 7th gear. Beckett's requires quite a lot of braking as well, down to 5th gear as you attack onto Chapel now. Open up the DRS once again and down the Hanger Straight. Once again, the engine is singing as you head down towards Stowe, named because of the Stowe School just behind the grandstand. Flick the car in, 5th gear corner as well, down the slight crest down towards the pit lane entrance, in towards the Vale chicane, brake at 70 metres into 3rd gear, flick the car into the left, then the right. It becomes double almost apex because it leads into club at turn 18 across the control line, and that is a lap of Silverstone.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Silverstone Chronicles from Saturday. So we've seen another day of action, and there was quite a lot of action today here at Silverstone. We've been treated to a brilliant day, and also you're going to be shocked. It's Max Verstappen on pole. So, Verstappen on pole, the biggest shock of our lives. Right, okay, joking. However, the man in second place is going to be a massive shock to you. So, we are going to give you a massive shock. It's Lando Norris who will start second place on the front row for the British Grand Prix. So, that was absolutely brilliant. And for that, also, we are going to be giving you and showing you some clips from today that Jess recorded. We'll get on. We have a Porsche Super Cup one for now, and we also have the crowd cheering as well. We're going to show you 2. We want to keep most of them for the 2-hour build up and the trackside tomorrow. So we're keeping quite a few. Jess will continue to film lots, and we're going to have a lot. We're also going to be giving, I think, quite a few clips in tomorrow's Silverstone Chronicles for Sunday. As we're mostly going to be, we're not going to have too much time after that. We are going to have an extra show on Monday, but we won't probably go into too much with all of the extra clips, so we'll most likely put them over here. However, we are now going to show you the crowd reaction to Lando Norris. We're going to show you 2. We're going to show you one from the main broadcast with no commentary, so all us commentators who got very excited can shut up, and we are going to let and we're just going to mute all the voices. Ben Edwards, we're just going to mute him, and we'll listen to the crowd reaction. But first of all, let's listen to Jess's one.
I know!
The crowd absolutely loved that one, and you can also hear just in the background. You can just about hear Jess screaming yes, very loudly in the background. So yeah, that was absolutely brilliant by Lando Norris there. And also, we have a bit of a shock in third. The camera's having a bit of a mess. I'll just try to see if I can sort some stuff out on that. However, another shock. It's a double top 3 start for McLaren. We have Oscar Piastri lining up in third, and we'll actually get the whole F1 qualifying classification up for you. So you can see all 20 drivers where they line up. Obviously, we currently unaware of any penalties or any of that. If there is any overnight, any engine changes, then that's obviously going to change. We'll let you know in the trackside update coming up. Hopefully, we're going to have Jess joining us today, as I said, so she can talk a bit about her experience about the whole day, because obviously she's gonna be a bit more calmer, because obviously even though we're gonna have her in the trackside tomorrow, obviously it's gonna be very loud there, so it's obviously gonna be a bit hard because she's gonna be at the circuit. So we're hoping that she gets to her hotel without any delays. She did send me a picture of rain, so hopefully we are able to get her here so we can actually sit down while she's relaxed, and she can talk us through everything that happened yesterday and today. But she's been having a great day, so we're hoping that we can speak to her later on. However, we'll continue through the rest of the order. We had the McLaren shock, obviously, in second and third, as I said. Verstappen spoiling the party in first position. Are we surprised? Not really. Verstappen, who ruined Alonso's pole in Monaco. We all thought Alonso had it, and then Max came over the line, shocked us all, just described it as magic right at the time in commentary. But Verstappen shocked us all in that one when when Ocon had it, then Leclerc had it, and then we had Alonso having it, and then we thought it was a done deal. Verstappen wasn't improving to the first and second sector. He was absolutely majestic though through the third sector. Really, really rapid he was, and he was able to take it, and he was right up against the walls. And then, obviously, here, we had Norris on pole. We all thought Norris had it because we could see a yellow sector for Verstappen. But we did kind of have in the back of our minds that, there is a chance that Verstappen might just take this away. And, well, he did. So, at least Norris, we do have him on the front row. And imagine the crowd if we see Lando Norris taking the lead right down at turn number 1 tomorrow. He'll have the inside line. It's definitely a chance. We could be seeing McLaren go a tiny bit different, maybe go on the soft. Depends what the strategy will be for everyone. Maybe we see something bold for McLaren. They obviously have 2 cars there, so it could be very interesting. But we're going to continue. Now, I know we're all very excited about McLaren, but we will talk a bit about other teams as well. We have Leclerc in 4th position, Sainz in 5th, Russell, Hamilton, Albon, Alonso, and Gasly rounding out the top 10. We'll go into every driver a bit more in a second, but we'll just run through the order quickly. Hulkenberg, Stroll, Ocon, Sargent, Perez, which I'd prefer not to talk about, but unfortunately I am going to have to. Tsunoda, Joe, Magnussen, and Bottas. Now, you can probably spot, and I've just noticed it, that there might be a bit of a mistake on this one, so I'll actually change that right now, because I was like, well, why the hell does it say Perez 15th? I'm like, what? He was 16th. We'll sort that out in 1 second there.
Is it because Bottas got disqualified?
Well, oh yeah, might have been. Yeah, might have been. But I am missing an 18th. So there's a mistake on there. There's a mistake on there anyway. I am missing. We've gone to 70. We've gone from 17th to 19th. So that's helpful. Well, Josh T, while I quickly sort that out, you were in the commentary box. How did you find that session? And as a McLaren fan, how did you find Norris coming over the line? Now, obviously, I was watching your reactions right to it, and you were very happy about it. So was Adam. But someone spoiled the party.
Yeah, someone did disrupt the party, and it was surprise, surprise. MV Max Verstappen, as the Mid-Ohio race goes green once more for the 3rd time today. It's absolute chaos there with the weather, but but that is the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. This is the Formula One show. You might see some NASCAR content on this channel, maybe. But Valtteri Bottas was disqualified. We'll get onto that later. For a 1 litre sample of fuel could not be provided, and that put him down to 20th. But he has been permitted to start because he didn't have a lap time inside the 107%. But I am just having a look at the other documents. Car 24, which is Zoe impeded car 31, which is Ocon in turn 11. That was no further action, Omi, and I don't know what you think about that, but if you can remember it, that was very dangerous, and that deserved a penalty.
Which one are we on about? I wasn't paying attention.
The Maggots and Beckett's impeding.
Well, I probably wasn't paying attention to that part either because I was busy editing the F2 highlights, which, by the way, I have made them private because there was a little issue with it. So after this, I'm sorting them out, and then they'll be back out there fully sorted. And then, obviously, I'll get the highlights out as well during the pre-race show for Formula One, as we'll cut to Sky for about the hour, and then I can start doing some F2, F3 Porsche Super Cup highlights. I'll already know when to clip them, so I'll sort that one out. But just to be a bit more of a pain, I wrote the F3 results before this new document came out as well. So I'm gonna be so that's a bit annoying.
Do you want to
Go on.
sort that out while I talk?
Well, yes, I can do that. I will try sort them out very quickly.
Okay, so while Omi sorts that out, let's talk a little bit about the documents which I have received. We've got the provisional starting grid as well, which we will go through at the end of the F1 because we have kind of gone through it, but we'll do it in the rows, not the qualifying classification. But we have got the FIA official document 37, and I don't know if you saw this, Omi, but it was the Nick de Vries unsafe release, and the competitor AlphaTauri was fined €5,000. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, but thank God, because I just wrote it because I just saw the driver I was missing was de Vries, and you mentioned de Vries, and I was like, oh no, there better not be a penalty because I'm just writing this one in. Well, okay, that's the F1 sorted. So
yeah. Oh, okay. So now the reason states the stewards heard from the team representative of car 21 and reviewed in-car video and CCTV evidence. They didn't need to do that because you could clearly see that it was a penalty and a slam dunk. And here's the continue of the reason. De Vries released from his pit stop location into the path of Oscar Piastri, who was driving in the fast lane during the first qualifying session, so Q1. De Vries had to drive through the working lane to avoid colliding with Piastri at a time when the pit lane was damp with low grip. The stewards considered the release to be unsafe, and then at the end of every document, competitors are reminded that they have the right to appeal certain decisions of the stewards in accordance with Article 15 of the FIA International Sporting Code and Chapter 4 of the FIA Judicial and disciplinary rules within the applicable time limits, and then added on, because of all of the stuff that's been going on with the FIA recently, decisions of the stewards are taken independently of the FIA and are based solely on the relevant regulations, guidelines, and evidence presented. So that was document 37. If you were wondering what happened with the Nick de Vries release, unsafe release, I think that's everything else. We've got the infringement for the McLaren pit lane incident, and this is for the mechanic on track. technically in the pit exit, but yeah. It's a breach of Article 34.14 of the FIA Formula 1 Sporting Regs, and a breach of Article 26.6 and Article 26.7 of the FIA Formula 1 Sporting Regs, and it's a warning, and McLaren have been fined €1,000. Now I'm just going to get the FIA Formula 1 Sporting Regs up and read you Article 26.6 and 26.7. So 26.6, Article 26.6 of the FIA Formula 1 Sporting Regulations reads, save as specifically authorized by the code of these sporting regulations, no one except the driver may touch the stopped car unless it is in the paddock, the competitor's designated garage area, the pit lane, or on the starting grid. So basically that's marshals are allowed to do it as well, of course, if they're recovering a car, etc, etc. But 26.7 says, during the period commencing 15 minutes prior to and ending 5 minutes after every practice session / qualifying, and the period between the commencement of the formation lap, which immediately precedes the sprint session, and the race, and the time when the last car enters the parc fermé, no one is allowed on track, the pit entry, or the pit exit, with the exception of marshals or other authorised personnel in the execution of their duty, drivers when driving or on foot having first received permission to do so from a marshal or official, team personnel when either pushing a car or clearing equipment from the grid after all cars able to do so have left the grid on the formation lap. And then 26.7d says team personnel when assisting marshals to remove a car from the grid after the start of the sprint session or the race. Now I believe the other one was Article 34.14, so I'm just going to quickly scroll down here, and I'm just going to double check. Yes, it was 34.14. So Article 34.14 reads, in all of the cases detailed in this Article 34.14, a car will be deemed to have been released either when it has been driven out of its designated garage area, in brackets when leaving from the garage, or after it has completely cleared its pit stop position following a pit stop. And then A, cars must not be released from a garage or pit stop position in a way that could endanger pit lane personnel or another driver. 34.14b, competitors must provide a means of clearly establishing when being viewed from both above and in the front of the car when a car was released. 34.14c, if a car is deemed to have been released in an unsafe condition during any free or qualifying practice session, the stewards may drop the driver such number of grid positions as they consider appropriate. And then D reads, if a car is deemed to have been released in an unsafe condition during a sprint session or a race, a penalty in accordance with Article 54.3d will be imposed on the driver concerned. However, if the driver retires from the sprint session or the race as a result of the car being released in an unsafe condition, a fine may be imposed upon the competitor. And then finally, in Article 34.14, E, an additional penalty will be imposed on any driver who, in the opinion of the stewards, continues to drive a car knowing it to have been released in an unsafe condition. So that was 34.14, and then on 34.14d, it refers to Article 54.3d. So let's just scroll down to that. So 54.3d reads, a 10-second stop and go time penalty. The driver must enter the pit lane stop in his pit stop position for at least 10 seconds. And then if any of the 4 penalties above are imposed upon a driver and that is unable to serve the penalty due to retirement from the sprint session or the race, the stewards may impose a grid place penalty on the driver at his next race. Now that doesn't The Piastri doesn't have to worry about that because it was just a warning and a fine, so that was just like in case of that. But I think that's everything from the FIA's official documents. Omi, are you ready?
Yep. So, we will go through now more of the F1 results in depth. So, Verstappen, well, what can we say? It looked close, it looked tight. We got to the Q3 first runs. Verstappen straight away was mega quick. Then we got a bit excited in the second runs because Leclerc fastest first sector was at a time when he was the first driver. So, we got a bit excited with that. And then he was still up to the second sector. So we still continued to get excited. Then he got to the line, he just missed out. Then we had Sainz over the line, he was just a bit more further down. Then Russell over the line, he was 71 thousandths down. So we just continued getting fast runs. Hamilton over a tenth behind, so he would have wanted to beat his teammate. He wasn't able to today, but it's going to be interesting to see what he can do tomorrow in the race. But it's great to see so many British drivers up there. And also Norris, I have to say, in the first run for Lando Norris, he wasn't up there at all. He was right at the bottom. So Norris really turning that around from out of nowhere to be going to what everyone thought at the time was pole position. However, it did change around quite a bit. So Verstappen was able to take it. And we thought we got another pole sitter, but this season we obviously had Leclerc, who's taken one pole, and then other than that it's been Red Bull. We thought we had someone else. I've just got a DM by Jess, that's why I'm getting a tiny bit distracted. So 1 sec, because I think that's what we all want rather than me waffling, and then obviously we can get Jess in and get her opinions on quite a bit of stuff. I'll just quickly reply to her, because that's what we all want. That's what we all want. We all want Jess to come here. We all want to hear what she has said when she's in her hotel. She's much more calm rather than, obviously, Silverstone was going absolutely crazy after qualifying. We could hear her, but we could hear lots of loud noises. It'll be a bit more quiet now. I think they've finally stopped partying, the McLaren fans, but we'll see. The McLaren, obviously these fans very passionate, so they do party on, but Jess has moved a tiny bit away from Silverstone to a different part in the UK. So she'll be so I guess it'll be a bit more silent, but we're about to find out. Jess, hello. We'll actually cut to the Discord cameras. Then I will move 1 sec, Jess. Then I'll move over to not okay. There we go. 1 sec. Josh T, we're gonna get rid of you. We're gonna get Jess on, and then maybe we can get Josh T on. Jess, we're about to get you on. Actually, I didn't really put it. Actually, we're gonna put it like this. Okay, I'm gonna remove myself. I'll put Josh T and Jess on. Right.
Well, while you sort that out, you say everybody's not busy, has finished partying at Silverstone. I don't think they have.
They continue.
They're still going. Well, not that.
Because at the Chrome main stage right now is May Muller, and then at 9:05 the Black Eyed Peas are there. So I don't think they are going to stop partying, and gates close at 11 PM unless you have a nightclub ticket. So they're going to be going late into the night.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have gone, but the last bus was at 20 to 8.
Right, I am getting Jess on because I basically set this one up. There we go. Can we have a bit of, yeah, we can just see Jess a tiny bit.
You want me to go landscape?
Yeah, that might actually help it.
Yeah,
there we go.
I've got Macca's.
Nice. So, yeah, we're quickly getting this one sorted.
There's no way I can balance this. No, I can't.
There we go. You can see more of Jess now. Just quickly getting her fully on.
While Omi decides to have a little bit of mess around time, Jess, I thought you would have had one of these. Now,
But what?
this
I can't see your camera.
is a tripod for your phone.
No, I don't have a tripod, sadly.
And I've just seen the thumbnail of the Silverstone Chronicles, and I am part of it because the thumbnail hasn't been changed yet. But
Well, Josh
Jess-
is working. Well, Josh is working on some for us, so.
hello. Jess, what do you think? What shall we go with F1, F2, or F3 first, Omi?
We'll go with F1 as that's what we're on about. Then we'll move to F2 and F3, and then we'll go on to the Porsche Super Cup. But just F1.
McLaren's all the way. I'm glad they got P2 and P3. Albon was looking good as well. Shame about Bottas's and Magnussen's engine issue. Bottas having to start the back of the grid tomorrow, which is not good. Verstappen, quick as always. Perez is washed. And yeah, good atmosphere in general. Apart from the booze. They shouldn't have booed. End of.
Well, you say that, Jess. I don't know if you heard this on the circuit commentary, but Valtteri Bottas actually ran out of fuel. And
we heard that.
And he's been disqualified from qualifying.
That's why I said the back of the grid.
Yeah.
I checked Twitter whilst I was on the train.
Yeah, he's been disqualified because they couldn't get a 1 litre fuel sample, so he is at the back of the grid.
Alright. Same about Sargent not going into Q3 because I think he had the pace to get to Q3 this weekend, but Albon's quicker, obviously. Shame Albon wasn't quicker in Q3, but the McLaren's made up for it. Actually, Piastri is best qualifying in Formula One, so beating all the rookies this season. # Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, we already know he's gonna be winning that one, but yes.
He scored the only points of the rookies this year. What are you on about?
Yeah, we already know he's gonna be getting it. It's pretty much obvious at this stage. But you were cheering every single British driver that went past, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
And everyone there was as well. I think I really want to give another listen to the to you guys absolutely cheering as Norris came over the line. So we'll quickly do that once more because I just love listening to that one. So we'll quickly listen to it and then we'll be back and have more questions for Jess.
I know.
So we are back here now with the full screen for Jess. But obviously, as you said, Perez, what is actually going on with him? He just keeps getting eliminated. What is actually going on in that Red Bull?
Well, to be honest, I have no clue. There are rumours that he had a chat with Helmut Marko after the race, but Perez is under contract, so I don't know. But we said that about Daniel Ricciardo. We said about Alex Albon. I think the Red Bull. I think Verstappen is outperforming the Red Bull. I think that's my take on it, because otherwise Perez would have been quicker. I think Verstappen is doing what Albon has done in the Williams, and what George has done in the Williams. It's just outperformed the car. That's my personal opinion. I don't know about yours, Amy.
Well, I have to agree, but Perez is kind of making a few of his own mistakes at the same time as well. Yeah, so Perez, but
timing as well, going out in Q1, I believe. He was one of the first to go out.
Which driver? Perez.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He went out in 16th place. He'll start 15th tomorrow, though, after Bottas, who did get through into Q2, but right at the end of Q1, obviously running right out of fuel and stopping the car. But yeah, Perez with a lot of work to do tomorrow. However, do you think that Lando Norris can outrun Verstappen down into turn 1? And the crowd are going to go absolutely crazy if he does. I really want it to happen because I want to hear you guys cheering quite a bit. I want to hear the noise.
I wish Lando could get the run into turn 1 because that would be amazing. I'll get a good view of that tomorrow. But I think Verstappen is just quick overall in race pace anyway. We've seen that in free practice compared to McLaren, so I think Verstappen's going to run away with it, but I hope Norris goes up, holds on to P2. Or if Lando doesn't hold on to P2, let's hope his teammate does.
Yeah. Yeah, but the question was, can he take it into turn 1? Verstappen sometimes doesn't have the best of starts, so there's a chance of that, isn't there?
Well, turn 1 is like it goes full throttle, like it goes through Abbey, then Farm, Village, then Loop, Aintree, then Wellington Straight. It's quite technical. I think the next braking zone's turn 3 when I actually get to Village.
Yeah.
The main the main field, the field juggler, you could say, is gonna be turn 3 at Village, but you can see, and we have seen, some chaotic turn 1 lap 1 incidents. Last year comes into mind also, but we've seen some amazing overtakes at turn 1 lap 1 at Silverstone.
Yeah, we have seen it.
Yeah.
And we have seen good overtakes in other series around Cops as well.
We did, especially Behrman with that late send at Cops today. That was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? Just he also pulled one at Cops. He also did the dummy where Josh was like, well, what was Josh saying? Oh, he was referring to a comparison to Hamilton. That one.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll check to in a minute, but yeah, you can get the move done into Cops. Easy.
Yeah.
SD drivers can do it.
Yeah, he went from the outside to the inside with a late lunge on the brakes, so that was great by Behrman.
I think what I was referring to was, I think they were going side by side for ages, was Victor Martins and Enzo Fittipaldi.
Yeah, that was later on in the race, but you were also correct on Behrman making a very late lunge at Stowe. That was on lap 3. He absolutely sent it on the brakes and got the move done, so that was brilliant by...
We were cheering him.
Yeah, another British driver. You were cheering him on.
There was lots of gas when he spun.
Oh, there was, and yeah, obviously doing the 360, but he was really doing well, wasn't he? He really was doing very well.
He was. It's just I think some of Behrman's moves was a bit questionable, but Doohan should stop moaning and get on with it.
Yeah, there was a few moves that were a tiny bit questionable. Now Perez usually does improve back to the top 10 in the races. With obviously we do have opportunities. Last year we saw something similar, obviously after getting damage on the opening lap after colliding with Leclerc. He had to fight his way through, then the safety car helped him, and then we had a brilliant obviously scrap Hamilton, Leclerc, Perez. So Jess, do you think safety cars could be a possibility once again and gives drivers opportunities?
Yes.
Simple answer. Love it.
We've had it in F3, had it in F2, we're going to have it in F1. End of.
Yeah. Hoping.
Because it's been here for like the past few, so.
Kind of a guaranteed.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Kind of a guaranteed, the safety car. And
there was only one red flag in quali, I think.
There was 2.
In F1.
Well, the second one was kind of at the end of the session, but it still was a red flag, because obviously Bottas stopped. So I guess it was displayed as a red flag, so you can kind of say red flag.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, because there was one for, there was one for Magnussen, and then, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't really make any difference to the end, though, anyway.
Yeah. Didn't make... Josh?
Jess, from your view from the grandstand, could you see Magnussen's car stopped over the wing, or was the wing blocking it?
Where did Magnussen stop again?
Vale? Before Vale?
I can't remember.
Let me have a look and work it out from the tweet.
So yeah.
I don't think so, because I think we could see the final corner, but not Val. We can only see a little bit of Vale. Oh no, we couldn't see Val, but we could see Club.
Well.
That was it.
Well, that will.
So yeah, that is no. We didn't see it, but we saw it on the screens.
Yeah. Well. While we have Josh
We saw Leclerc or Sainz's spin though. We saw that.
Yeah, Leclerc had a spin, obviously, in FP3. Behrman did a copy of that, didn't he? Just a 360, losing it, and back on.
He saved that. Like, he almost got investigated, like, from an unsafe rejoin, though, didn't he?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. But personally, in my opinion, it was a tiny bit of an unsafe rejoin, because he basically came across, and that let Fittipaldi do a through goes Fittipaldi moment right over there. So he was able to get that double overtake done, exactly like Hamilton did. Two strong drivers also in qualifying this season. Alonso and Hamilton, they've both been in Q3 10 times, a 10 out of 10 in all qualifyings this season. And then also we have Hamilton, Verstappen, 9 of them, Leclerc in 8, Russell, Gasly in 7, Ocon, Stroll, Norris. Verstappen wasn't in Saudi. If you remember, he had the issue.
That wasn't of his own accord. That was due to a brake shaft issue.
Yep, he still wasn't though part of Q3. But obviously it wasn't his fault. He would have got in. He would have taken pole. But yeah, Russell, Gasly have been in it 7 times. Ocon, Stroll, Norris 6. Hülkenberg, Piastri 5. Perez and Albon 4. Albon in the Williams has got into Q3 the same amount of times as Perez. So Perez, that is very shocking, in the best car on the grid. Tsunoda's got 2, Bottas, Magnussen 1. Only 3 drivers this season haven't been able to get through: Joe, De Vries, and Logan Sargent as well. But obviously, Joe, it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. He's been good at some parts of the season, but there's some parts where he hasn't been able to get those performances together. Kind of this similar, like his teammate Valtteri Bottas.
Joe, isn't it? Because Joe, the last few races, consistently outperformed him, but I think he hasn't been looking good all weekend. Bottas has been outperforming him in general. Which is a shame, because obviously after what happened last year, it would be nice if he would have had some redemption, like Albon maybe. But yeah, I think the car's just not suited to the track personally. Alfa Romeo. I'm trying to remember. Did they bring upgrades this time? I don't think they did.
There was a lot of teams who bought upgrades. I'll let Josh T check on that one. I do know.
Yeah, I don't think if they did, I don't think that suited the circuit, because Bottas just about made it through into Q2, but obviously he had to miss it because fuel.
Yeah. So we've quickly come back to my screen because I have all of the results on there. We'll cut back to Jess in a second, but we're just looking at. Yeah, we're just getting all of the. We're just obviously showing you the results. Obviously, Haas starting 11th and 19th. Hülkenberg in 11th. Magnussen in 19th. That's going to go horribly for them with their race pace, sadly. So, Haas really do need to sort their race pace out. They're good in qualifying. Obviously, maybe not. They could have maybe done a tiny bit better this weekend, but it was close between going through and going out. So, yeah. But Haas usually do better in qualifying, but in the races they struggle. Now, obviously, they haven't done. They weren't able to get to Q3, but they're still going to have a bad race, most likely due to their race pace, whether it's wet and dry. Because in the dry they've been struggling, in the wet, in the sprint they were struggling. So I think we are going to be seeing Haas drop down even more from 11th and 19th, which will be bad for them. But they might be able to stay there because obviously there's a bit of less competitive cars around them.
Yeah, well, I have got all of the new parts for the cars. Okay, so with a new internal combustion engine, both Red Bulls of Verstappen and Perez, the Mercedes of Russell, the Haas of Hülkenberg, and the AlphaTauri of Nick de Vries. and no penalties there. There's no penalties for either of them. For a new turbocharger, it's the same of Verstappen, Perez, Russell, Hulkenberg, and De Vries. MGUH, it's the same. Verstappen, Perez, Russell, Hulkenberg, and De Vries. MGUK is Verstappen, Perez, Russell, and De Vries. So Hulkenberg didn't take a new MGUK. And then the new exhaust system was the same 5 again: Verstappen, Perez, Russell, Hulkenberg, and De Vries. And then taking a new gearbox, case, and cassette was Perez and Hulkenberg. A new gearbox, driveline, gear change components, and auxiliary components was Perez and Hulkenberg, and that's it.
Yeah. Also, AlphaTauri, they bought upgrades, but it doesn't look like it's worked too much for them. This weekend, Sonoda also mentioning it's not worked out too much for them. I do want to talk to you, Jess, a tiny bit about Formula 2 though, so we are gonna quickly move over to that. We'll leave my screen on with the results for a bit, and then we'll cut it over back to you. But Frederick Vesti, that was kind of a Max Verstappen domination, wasn't it?
I think from the start, he controlled the field. There was carnage behind him, and his pace was just amazing, because he didn't qualify well for the feature race tomorrow, which I'm sadly going to miss, which is annoying. Blame the UK train system for not putting trains before 7 AM, but what can you do?
Yeah. But Vesti, he got the power down. He didn't look back after that. Absolutely dominated. Did. Hello? Oh, can you hear me? Jess?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I basically thought you said something, so I thought you couldn't hear me. But yeah, Vesti absolutely dominant by him. He got his power down, got a foot to the floor, didn't look back after that. Did Frederick Vesti dominated the whole race. We thought Behrman might have a challenge with how pacey he was looking, but after that mistake, Behrman just got involved in battles, in so many different types of battles with Duran. So basically they just kept losing time together. So Vesti absolutely dominated that. He said he was watching a tiny bit of the race on the big screen while his teammate was involved in some battles, but it was. Yeah, but Fred.
Lonzo did it in Miami, which was quite funny.
Yeah, Frederick Vesti though, brilliant by him. Deo Porcher in second position. Duran getting on the podium. Now, as you were mentioning about earlier with Duran, he got involved in a lot of scraps with Behrman, and I don't think he was too happy after the race, was he, Jess?
No, it was. To be fair, it was a nice fight that they had with each other. It was just, there was some times where Behrman could have been, I think, giving them a bit more space, be less aggressive and stuff like that. Because there was a few times that Behrman may have gone off the road or something like that. But there were some times where Duran could have done the same thing, but, you know, things happen.
Yeah.
And it was a fair fight at times, but sometimes Behrman could be a bit more careful. But again, Duran should have been less whiny, I would have said. But, yeah. What do you think, Amy?
I have to agree with you. I think you're spot on. That there was parts of the race where Behrman could have been a bit more sensible, but he was very aggressive. There was some parts, especially the unsafe region, I have to say. I think me, Josh, Sintel all deemed it a tiny bit unsafe there. But yeah, it basically was. I think we were all in agreement also in the commentary box about all or most incidents with Behrman and Duran. I think we all agreed on that some were fine, some weren't. So yeah, it was basically a bit of a mix. We had Leclerc finishing in 8th. He was involved in some battles today, made a move at Copse Corner late on the brakes. But other than that
was brilliant.
Yeah, was brilliant by Leclerc.
I wish I didn't.
Yeah, so hopefully where are you sitting tomorrow? Hopefully you get a lot of action wherever you are sitting.
For the race tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sitting at the same grandstand, but I'm sitting at a different seat. Like, what? Hello?
Oh, hello. Well, I think a signal might be I think a signal might be a tiny bit bad, so, you're cutting out a few times, so, yeah.
Yes, it's fine for me, Omi.
Well, she is cutting out a tiny bit, but I can hear her. I think she is struggling to hear us maybe a tiny bit. But I think she's hearing us fine, and we're able to do this, pretty much good, but...
Answer your question. Oh, what the hell? Same grandstand as today, but I'm sitting, like, at the opposite side. Well, not the opposite, the opposite end of the grandstand. So, like, a few seats to the left, if that makes sense.
Yeah, hopefully.
Fewer grandstand blocks, like sets of.
Yeah, because I was at seat 195 or whatever, and tomorrow I'm at seat 21 something. Can't remember.
Yeah, a couple of sets over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see what it was like for tomorrow.
So,
yeah.
as you can see on your screen, we do have the Porsche Super Cup top 10 qualifying results as well. We'll get to Formula 3 in a second. But we also had a clip by Jess, who recorded some for us while she was at the track. We have more coming tomorrow, though. However, let's actually show you this. And then after that, we'll go through the top 10. So as you can see, we don't usually get to see it. We don't usually get to see it, sadly, in qualifying and practice, due to Sky Sports don't actually stream it. But if you are in a country that F1 TV, yeah, if you are in a country that F1 TV that has F1 TV Pro, then you are able to watch that. However, we are going to run through the results, and also if Josh is watching, this is going to be helpful for him, because in Monaco, I didn't look at any websites, he didn't look at any websites, we didn't really have a clue at what the grid was. However, for the first time this season, Larry Tenforda is not on pole, because Dorian Boccolacci was able to take it, and Chris McCarthy did say... Sorry,
I was expecting the guy that usually takes pole to take pole.
Yeah, so it was a tiny bit different. Dorian Boccolacci took it, and I'm not really surprised why Chris McCarthy tweeted that it's one of the best Porsche Super Cup qualifyings he's done. Not really surprised with that.
It was a really good qualifying from what I saw.
Yeah, so Dorian Boccolacci taking pole position. He'll be alongside Larry Tenforda, the place where he's finished the opening 2 rounds of the season. And then Harry King in third. He lost the Larry Tenforda lost the duel in Monaco to Harry King, who outdragged him all the way down into Saint-Devote. And then last week, 1 week ago, he lost the duel to Bastien Bus, who starts in fourth. So they're all together. All these 3 drivers who have been dueling in the first 2 races, they're together. And I think we're going to see Dorian Boccolacci, who's going to join that party as well. So we could be in for a brilliant Porsche Super Cup race tomorrow. And then Alexander Fatch in 5th, Maurice Schurin in 6th, and then Keegan Masters in 7th, Alessandro Gueriti in 8th, Jaap van Legen in 9th, Robert Dehaan in 10th position. So that's the top 10 for tomorrow's race, but it's going to be really, really interesting. We have Larry Tenforda starting second this time. It's where he's finished. He hasn't won a race, even though he's been so quick. Around Austria last week, he took pole by over 0.6 of a second. So it looks like they're very close here at Silverstone, Jess. So we could be in for a brilliant Porsche Supercar race. I don't know how much you watched the opening 2 rounds, but
Not much.
not much. However, Larry Tenforda took pole in the opening 2 races, and then he lost both of them. In Monaco, he was outdragged. In Monaco, Larry Tenforda was stuck to the back of Harry King, but he couldn't really make the overtake. Monaco, and at Austria, we had Harry King. We had Bastien Bus have a scrap for 1 whole lap. we saw him have a scrap. They went wheel to wheel at Austria for the whole lap. And Bastian Boos, well, it was Larry Tenford who stayed ahead, but then Bastian Boos basically caught him out with a late lunge a few laps later to take the win. So he's lost both.
One thing I've noticed about the Porsches, that they're very loud compared to the F1 cars.
Yeah, they are.
They are, yeah.
And I basically got an order of what I think's the loudest, right? So I think it's the Porsches first, then it's the F3s, then it's the F2s, and then the F1. Surprisingly, it's the quietest car.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a lot being said everywhere. So I'm not really surprised. I've heard that the F3s are louder than the F1s. So yeah, the Porsche Super Cup also very loud as well. But Jess,
It sounds brilliant, though.
You did forget something that is definitely louder than the Porsches.
go on.
The historic F1 car demonstration
Oh, yeah, good point.
that we tried to hear you over. I think it was earlier today, or was it yesterday? I think it was earlier today.
Our memory's kind of going with that. Jess, were you able to watch that?
Yeah, I was watching that when Josh was trying to call me.
So that would have been.
And every time I heard a car going past, I had to mute, which was. But sometimes I forgot to do that, so I couldn't hear Josh. I was like, Josh, can you repeat the question? And we saw quite a few cars actually, and we saw the Bennington car as well. And we saw another car. We saw was that I know it was historic, but it was like the Brad Pitt. The Brad Pitt stunt cars, or the stunt double, as we saw quite a few times across the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just keep making a mess.
So obviously Larry Tenford lost the two opening duels of the season in the opening 2 rounds. Starting from second, do you think he can finally take that win, or will the other 3 hungry, maybe even others can join the party? Do you think the other 3 hungry drivers can deny him in Burrow and Boccolacci, Harry King, and Bastian Boos?
Impossible to tell really, because I haven't watched much Porsche this season.
Even if you did, it's really hard anyway. So yeah, it's kind of predictions.
Silverstone is a track where you can overtake at, so quite a lot of overtaking spots you can go side by side. Obviously, smaller cars compared to obviously Formula One, so I think they'll have more of a chance to go side by side.
And obviously, they're glued up to each other through the corners as well, aren't they?
Yeah, and it is easier to overtake than Monaco. Austria, comparing it to Austria, I don't know. It's hard to tell, really.
Well, the thing is,
how it goes.
Yeah, well, the thing is, in the Porsche Super Cup, even though you might not have too many straights, you can really still overtake at every part of Silverstone because the circuit's wide enough. And with these, obviously, with these Porsche Super Cup cars, you're basically glued up to each other through the corners. To every corner, you're glued up to each other, and that's why we also had that scrap.
Luffield, where I was before I had to go, a lot of cars were like on a lap, and they were following each other.
Yeah.
They were very close.
Yeah, so we usually do see that, but the Porsche Super Cup, really looking forward to hopefully another 1-lap scrap coming up. We saw about...
If I can make it get there in time.
Well, yeah, but...
Yeah,
me and Josh are really going to enjoy it here in the commentary box. Hopefully, Jess, you are able to see a bit of it as well. It's going to be right after we go live trackside as well, so
if I make it in time.
yeah, but we'll be going live anyway, but we're just gonna have to find more topics to talk about. But I think you're gonna send Josh the clips, so at least we'll be able to show more clips that you've got since Friday and Saturday.
I'll send the over even if I'm not at the track yet.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, so
the train that gets there to Milton Keynes at about 9:30, and then
9:34.
I think the next bus is like 10 or something. And depending on traffic, it may not get to the circuit till like 11 or something.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, go ahead, Josh T.
Yeah, it's a 9:34. I'm looking at the exact train.
Yeah, it's 8:26 and it gets there at 9:35.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are now going to move over to Formula 3. I have the results here, so what I'll do is
I can't remember what happened today. I feel so long ago.
I'll remind you a tiny bit. So Franco Colapinto won.
Oh yes, I remember. He won.
Yeah. So that was a race where I think you were messaging Josh where it was raining and then getting a bit dry, and it was really a mix, which we saw pit stops in a Formula 3 race. Obviously in a sprint, so that's even shorter. But we had a safety car.
I did the safety car.
Yeah, we had a safety car. Yeah, we had a safety car for the conditions. But then we obviously went back to green, and then we saw contact between Montoya and Taylor Barnard, didn't we?
Oh my god, I was absolutely gutted because he was leading. I think I could tell that the crowd was cheering for Montoya, and then he had a moment, made contact, boom, he dropped down the order. Gutted.
Honestly,
Absolutely gutted.
every race for Montoya, every weekend I should say, something goes wrong. Like in Austria, he tried to go around the outside of turn 6. It worked a few laps before, but it didn't work on the final lap with everyone being a bit more aggressive. He found himself in the gravel, and then also, if we go back to the Monaco sprint, I'm just saying things that come back to mind. Monaco's feature race. He also had contact trying to make some overtakes around Monaco, which is always risky. So he gets in a lot of contact, so it's really, really unfortunate for Sebastian Montoya.
Do you know what happened with the investigation at the end of the race involving Mansell? Did he keep his podium?
We are checking.
Well, I have it here. He's still amended sprint race final classification. He's in third, so I guess that confirms it.
I enjoyed amazing today.
Yep, Bortoletto got second position. Bortoletto is just doing really well. Always up there, always consistent. And I think he's on his way to the championship if other drivers can't get on his...
He's leading the championship now.
Yes, Bortoletto is leading the championship. The most consistent driver in the field, I'd say. There is definitely drivers who can match him, but I wouldn't say they're as consistent as him. So that's costing them the chance to fight for this championship. So Bortoletto doing really well.
The race because of the changeable conditions. People didn't know what tyres they were going to be on, and it was delayed. So the drivers, like the teams, had enough time to decide like which was the right tyre. Because I think they were originally on slicks, and then then it was raining, so I messaged Josh saying, "Oh, it's raining," and then they put the wet. I think there was the wet on, so they didn't have Interstone. So yeah, they put the wet on. Then they realised some teams it wasn't enough, and it got a bit chaotic. But yeah.
Yep, so we had Caio Collet finishing in 4th, Gabriele Mini in 5th, Hugh Barta in 6th, Leonardo Fornaroli in 7th, Sebastian Montoya after that moment. He did recover a tiny bit in 8th, and then Ido Cohen did get a 10-second penalty, still finished in 9th, because obviously with the different changing conditions, you had the field spreading out quite a bit. So usually in a Formula 3 race, or usually in a Formula 2 race, in any kind of feeder series race, if you were to get a penalty, a 5-second penalty, that would be massively costly. He got 10-second, but didn't lose out too much, still in 9th position.
It's not about the outcome of the result, it's about the outcome of the incident.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's still there though. So.
Yeah, that's what I mean. People. There has been people that saying, why has he moved places because of his 10-second penalty? But that's because it's about the incident, not where he placed.
Yeah.
Like originally.
Yeah. But also we had so I think what you're trying to say is if for example a driver might win, but it's a special win, but then I think people complain that that they're in first, so they shouldn't get penalties. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, like the gap was like 15 seconds, and he got a 10-second penalty for an incident with someone.
Ooh, yeah.
And he still won the race.
Oh right, okay, yep. So.
Yeah, it's about the outcome of the incident.
Yeah.
Not the outcome of the race.
Yeah, a lot of people take it that way, but
yeah, there's some people that because it reminds me obviously what happened to Lewis 2021 when Verstappen and Hamilton happened, and he still won the race, and yeah.
Yeah, we see quite a bit of it in league racing, don't we? Where drivers are complaining quite a bit. We usually do see that.
Oh my god, my TV's just turned on automatically in my hotel room. Hold on.
We'll run you through the results while Jess gets back. Marty finished in 10th, and then
Oh, it's off now.
yep,
I don't
Gus.
know why it keeps turning. It turned on automatically yesterday when I arrived in my hotel room and I saw the leg was on.
Yep. We'll quickly go through the results, and then we'll grab some final thoughts as well, and some other stuff as well. We'll also grab. Yep. Yeah, just we'll quickly go through the results and then come back to you. Garcia in 11th, and then Polaron in 12th. Dino Beganovic in 13th position, and then Luke Browning, Nikola Teslov, then Zach O'Sullivan, Oli Goethe, Nikita Bedouin, Sofia Flores, Rafael Villagomez, Gregory Saucy, Kalen Frederick, Mackenzie Cresswell, Maxwell Esterson on his debut, Oliver Gray, Tommy Smith, Roberto Ferrier, and then Johnny Edgar, Mary Boyer, and Taylor Barnard. But that was really it was really an exciting Formula 3 race, changing conditions. We obviously got that delayed start, didn't we, Jess? So what was going on at that point? So how much rain was there? So do you think at the time when we did get a delayed start, do you think we were able to go racing at that point, or did they make the correct decision?
Like as I was saying, it was delayed because the people had enough time to change tyres, because otherwise they would be on the wrong tyres and they would be slipping and sliding everywhere.
So
it started raining, a bit of drizzle, and then I think it stopped for a bit, and then it rained again, and people didn't know what they were doing. But yeah, and that was a time where I had, well, it literally, the day started off nice and sunny, yeah. So I brought my coat. The day wasn't starting off nice and sunny. As soon as Formula 3 started, there was a bit of cloud cover, and then we had spits of rain. Put my coat on, and I had my coat on for pretty much the whole day, pretty much.
Yep. Also, Josh, quickly to grab your thoughts. What was your thoughts on the F3 sprint as well?
Chaos. It was literally chaos. Was it more chaos than the F2 race?
Hard to say.
No.
Yeah.
F2 had a bit more incident.
Yeah, it is always a bit. It is always tiny bit hard to judge two different series, but yeah, I'd say Formula 2 was a bit more chaotic and did have a tiny bit more action. But we obviously had that brilliant scrap in Formula 2, so that was fantastic. But Formula 3 races are usually we get side by side all the time throughout. At least at some point of the field, we usually get side by side every lap. And obviously this being and obviously at Silverstone, so many different opportunities you get for overtaking. So it is really an incredible racetrack, and it's designed for overtaking. So I think we could be in for a brilliant F1 race tomorrow as well. Quickly to go back onto F1, but we could be in for a brilliant race in Formula 1, maybe behind Verstappen if Verstappen was to dominate, sadly. But it is the British Grand Prix, it is the British Grand Prix overall, so things can happen like last year. Verstappen was in the lead, but he got some
had issues or something.
Well, it was some bodywork car. It was some bodywork car related issues. We all thought he had a puncher. It wasn't a puncher. It was it wasn't too really mechanical. It was just some bodywork really. But
maybe he made contact with someone and he didn't notice, or whatever, and like safety car restart or whatever.
Yeah, and obviously there was quite a lot of debris as well after obviously the Joe incident, which they did try to clear as well. But then we obviously had the Leclerc Perez as well moment, so there was quite a bit of debris. And also we had the AlphaTauri crash as well. Those two hitting each other. Gasly and Tsunoda was at the time behind the wheel, but we are going to be in hopefully. For an interesting F1 race, which I think a lot of people, their hope is that Max Verstappen does not win.
Well, I think if Verstappen does not win, I'm going to be so annoyed. But please, McLaren, pull something out of the bag. I would like to see McLaren, because I got an interesting stat here as well.
Go on.
In Monza, 2021.
Yeah, 1-2.
McLaren started second and third.
Well, you know who's stealing that one tomorrow. Jess, you know who's stealing that one tomorrow? Crofty.
I know. Well, I think track commentary said it, so technically I stole it from them.
Well, Crofty will find a way to steal everything.
I saw it on Twitter as well. So
At least you're being honest. At least you're being honest, though, that you stole it from them.
Yeah, at least I'm being honest. I think there was another one where I had like someone else, Jenson Button and another McLaren or something as well, and then Jenson Button won. I think it was Hungary and Japan one year. I can't remember. So yeah, any one of those two occasions, you know, I'm probably hoping for that to happen, but I know Verstappen's probably going to run away with it. But most of the times, McLaren started second and third. They've gone on. One of them drivers have gone on to win the race.
Yeah, just quickly.
Need I say more?
Who is it on the trackside commentary? Is it Addison and Hyde?
I think it's Ben somebody. Oh, I can't remember his name.
I think Addison is on there.
Yeah, I can't remember each of the surnames. But I think there was about 3 commentators. But I think it was Ben.
Doubt it's gonna be Addison, Alan Hyde in the pit
the one who. Yeah, because I think he does the one who usually does the lead commentary for the Silverstone thing, and sometimes does it for other series as well. Because I recognise his voice from somewhere other than Silverstone.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, the commentary was very, very good. It was a shame I couldn't listen to your commentary because signal, but the trackside commentary was generally really good.
Alright, so Jess, now we're gonna let you mainly do the talking because I'm now gonna get up some stuff from 2021 and 2022. So we can.
What am I gonna say?
Well, you can talk about. I guess we've been talking about a lot of racing wise, but I guess everyone you've met, how has it been, who have you met, and I guess all sorts of stuff aside from the racing as well. So Jess, the screen, it's yours.
No pressure, no pressure. What I've noticed that when you're around Silverstone, you have obviously it's quite long. You have to do a lot of walking to get everywhere. I didn't realise that getting to Village from Abbey was a trek. That you have to go. I got lost a few times as well. There is a lot of eateries, so if you want to eat, you're not sure of stuff to eat, which was nice. Downside, it's fucking expensive to buy stuff, but I recommend if you go to Silverstone, you would buy stuff like beforehand, which I didn't have time. There's a lot of merchandise as well you can get. There's some sim racing stuff. There's obviously the Chrome main stage as well. And trying to remember. As I said, F1 Manager is there as well.
There's a lot of
stuff I haven't had a chance to go and visit because I was trying to get grandstand seats. But tomorrow, because I have more time and I get a seat, I get to explore a bit more. But the there's lots of fan zones everywhere. Lots of eateries. Basically, lots of stuff to do. There's a Ferris wheel as well, which I need to have a go on at some point. It looks quite cool, but it's gonna be probably pretty packed tomorrow. And yeah, basically my advice also for like if you have a roving seat next year, like for Friday and Saturday, make sure you find this sheltered grandstand way before F1 starts. Like ideally, like before F1 free practice 3, like go like when I think just before F3 finishes, because when I went to go to the toilet there was a queue to get back to the grandstand. So yeah, allow more time to get where you need to be. Basically, don't just rely on like when the race starts or whatever. Allow more time to get where you need to be, because it may take longer than you thought. There may be queues or whatever. And there's always queues to the toilets, which is unsurprisingly because the amount of fans there are right now. So plan ahead, pretty much. Look at the map, and if you get lost, there's always stewards and I think it's called race makers or something that can help you anyway. Because I've got lost quite a few times. I had to ask where to go. Sorry I'm rambling on, but you already know Omi.
We are. And I have another question for you. Coming up after this. So while I quickly
Good,
switch
'cause I'm
over.
drinking.
Right. So what we are now gonna do is we are gonna watch something that you guys might remember. We talked about it we talked about it as Jess. Yeah, lovely fruit shoot there.
Yeah, I'm thirsty. Yeah.
Yeah, but we talked about it earlier. This circuit has had a lot of moments. You can see it up, and it is the 2021 British Grand Prix. And we're not watching, obviously, all of it. But what we are going to do is we are going to watch the opening lap of it. And you don't need to see what happened, because I think Josh's reactions and Ian Birch and Megan all there will tell you all you need to know about how the opening lap was. So I'm now gonna shut up, basically. I think we're all gonna let you enjoy Josh.
Josh B.
So here we go. Yep. Okay, over to you, Josh B. Past Josh B.
Fast.
Who's gonna win this one then? That's the question.
Edward and Sophie there. And did anyone see?
How long we
Edward
got
in the
left?
No, I didn't. Not yet.
He's in one of the.
Well, we can talk a tiny bit over it, but not too much.
Sits in
Huh.
back.
Oh, sorry.
So,
Harrison Ford, yeah.
here we go then, folks. It's time for the good old-fashioned British Grand Prix, and a former RAF base. All 5 lights are on. And it's action at Silverstone. A great start this time by Hamilton. It's Verstappen who had the poor start. And into Abbey. They're side by side. Verstappen almost off the track. Still takes the lead. Hamilton going to try round the outside. Coming into Village. Hasn't worked out. Verstappen leads once again. As Leclerc tries desperately to hold on. As Bottas has dropped down to 4th. It's the Ferrari making the move. But it's all eyes up front. As Hamilton now with Verstappen weaving left and right. Verstappen's left the door open as Bottas is still trying to go around the outside. Leclerc, Hamilton now with Verstappen. They're side by side in front of the 140,000 British fans. They're still racing, and Leclerc coming to join the party as well. And they're all nearly putting things on the
Here's
track
the
as well.
moment.
Side by side as they come out towards Cobb's corner. Verstappen goes left. Hamilton goes to the pit wall through Cobb's corner, and the two championship rivals are off. And Verstappen hits the wall in a massive accident. Hamilton is out, and Verstappen is out
Lewis
at the
isn't
British
out.
Grand Prix. Hamilton to second, Leclerc leads, but it's Verstappen in the wall as the safety car. Verstappen in.
Well, I'm surprised how Josh just kept going, and didn't really take a deep breath at all. We are gonna now, Jess. You have a lovely book there, don't you? We'll talk about that in a second, but you can see. We'll turn.
They have the trackside commentators, but they don't. Like the names of them. So I've forgotten them on the top of my head. It might be on this, but I doubt it because it just has the schedule. Nah, it doesn't have it on there either.
So, you now can see my face again. Only though, actually, I should put it on Jess because I'm about to throw a question to her. So, Jess, over to you. Now I'm gonna ask you. Well, you pretty much answered most of it, but you didn't tell us which kind of people did you meet this weekend. So, who have you met?
I met. Oh, I have to hold it now. I bumped into someone I league race with and work with in a league on the bus yesterday. And I sat next to him and I didn't know it was him until he spoke, and I was like, "Oh, that's him." So I met him. I met Logan at the end of, I think it was free practice 2. We watched Porsche straight after the practice session. And I met Ace today because he was very keen to see me. So before we left, I met Ace. But to be honest, I thought I was going to miss my bus. Luckily, I didn't because the bus was waiting and we didn't have to wait long for it. So, but yeah, so I met those lot. I haven't met anyone else I know online yet, but those were the 3 people.
Were you not able to meet? Were you not able to meet Dan Field on Friday?
No.
Ah.
I could have met him.
Well.
He didn't message me back, so I assume he found some people to chill. Which is fair enough. Like, you can't always hang out with all the people in the world the whole time, you know.
Yeah. Well, we're now gonna actually head over. I'm gonna get it. First, I'm just gonna get the exact moment. But as you can see, we have got the 2022 British Grand Prix, and the last 2 years, we've.
I need to have a shower.
Jess, you can go. Yeah, you can. We're gonna cut over. And watch the. Well, I guess we're gonna watch all the way till the end, and then we'll wrap up this show. But Jess, thank you for joining us. We will see you tomorrow.
Till the end if we haven't got that long.
Well, I guess what we've got is the whole of the remaining laps after the safety car of the 2022 British Grand Prix. And then maybe we can maybe skip a few parts, and then just a wrap up after that, a few minutes or wrap.
I may as well say, what time is it now? 9:15. Oh yeah, I'll stay for a bit. I can have a shower 9:30. It's fine. But I need it before tomorrow. So go.
All right. Right. Let's find it then. Well, I'm not under pressure to hurry up.
No rush.
Also,
No rush.
in this, we also have past Josh T as well. Just sitting there.
Oh no.
So
Here we go.
Here we go again.
I believe this is when it starts. Here we go.
Not lap sprint. Let's have some signs again.
Even though we can't hear what's going on.
There you go, Josh.
So it's going to be a
Take it away, Josh B.
Lewis Hamilton going for victory here at Silverstone. The two Ferraris stand in his way. Perez behind him. Green flag. Away we go for the 10-lap sprint. And look at Perez on the inside of Hamilton already. Down towards Abbey. Perez has found so much more speed, and Lewis is now feeling the pressure.
The Ferrari's about to go wheel to wheel.
Perez looks to the outside line. Lewis defends hard. Maybe it will be the two Ferraris' way as Perez round the outside of the loop can't get through. What about the comeback and entry? He's going for it, and Perez takes third as Ferrari are battling as Sainz marches his way through on Charles Leclerc. They've broken the team order. Ferrari are racing together. Leclerc round the outside, and Carlos
Megan's
Sainz
loving it.
takes the lead. They've broken ranks. The Union flags are waving to Cromwell Walker, and it's in support of Ferrari breaking their own team rules. And now Perez has passed Hamilton. What a restart at Silverstone! And look at Leclerc under pressure from Perez.
What?
Carlos Sainz.
Right.
Benotti.
We're gonna now cut over. We're now gonna cut to I guess. Well, Josh said he did it better than Crofty, which I do agree with. So we're gonna. I forgot the phrase though. I forgot what he said. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna cut to Crofty's through goes Hamilton. We're gonna cut to Crofty's through goes Hamilton, but a better version of it. So.
Here comes Fernando Alonso.
Oh, that was a very energetic through go. Here comes Fernando Alonso.
Who's doing a 130?
I actually feel like clipping that one. Actually, everyone, I feel like clipping that one and playing it whenever Fernando Alonso is doing something.
Tomorrow.
He's both done a 130.8. Alonso's
Right, we're about to get Leclerc versus Hamilton.
Go! It's so close here.
Here we go. Drew Maggots
It's
Beckett
getting cooler. The British
on the
Grand
hanger
Prix in
straight.
the summer is having a nightmare here at Silverstone. You don't know what to look at next.
You really don't. I keep looking at the timing screens trying to work out how far away everyone is, and it just keeps changing constantly.
Lewis has got time back. He's fast in the first section now. Leclerc's massively slowing down as Perez dives through on the inside at Stowe. Leclerc's holding around the outside line. They go wheel to wheel down towards Vale. Perez
Megan's
on the
jumping.
outside line. Hamilton's there as well. Leclerc turns in, keeps the lead. Perez goes off the
The thing
track.
is, I can't see what Omi's showing you. So when Omi's saying Megan's jumping, I think it's something else.
And the British fans, just listen to that noise. They are cheering. All 142,000 are loving this.
Well, I'm gonna quickly pause that because that got very loud. I want to watch Josh T's reaction again because usually, from what I've been watching, he's usually smiling whenever Verstappen and Hamilton have moments, and obviously Verstappen's not in this one, but he's usually just smiling there. So I want to see what he's doing this time.
No, it's so close here. I can't turn the inside.
I see clouds.
Clouds are coming in as well with 8 to go. This is great. a mistake as well. Perez is being hounded as well as we head down
oh, I
to the
did.
corner. The rain
Oh.
is coming here at Silverstone with 8 to go. It's so close here. It's getting darker. It's getting cooler. The British Grand
Just
Prix
see
this summer
everyone.
is having a nightmare here at Silverstone. You don't know what to look at next.
You really don't. I keep looking at the timing screens trying to work
Okay,
out
we're about to get it.
how far away everyone is.
Everyone stare at Josh T. We've already seen Josh,
Lewis
Ian,
is
and
well
Megan.
back. He's
Stare at
starting
Josh T.
first. Now Leclerc's massively slowing down as Perez dives through the inside at Stowe. Leclerc's holding round the
There's a
outside
very
line. They
tempting
go wheel
end
to
live
wheel,
box on
down
YouTube
towards
studio
Vale.
right now.
Perez around the outside line.
Dave.
Hamilton's there as well. Leclerc turns in, keeps the lead. Perez goes off the track, cuts back on. Hamilton cuts on the inside, and Hamilton takes the
Yes,
Perez.
Lewis!
Hamilton takes the
Well-
Perez, the red club.
Well, Joshy didn't even react to that, so that was boring. Okay, let's just skip through. Everyone just watch Joshua Birch.
Him to go past 2 other people.
I have never seen this before.
Then all 3 of you.
We'll actually do. We'll move back to that moment. But we'll skip the through goes because we want to end this quickly as well. But we'll let Josh continue with
He's slowing
the.
down as Perez
There we
dives
go.
through the inside at Stowe.
Just be.
Leclerc's holding round the
Yes.
outside line. They go wheel to wheel, down towards Vale. Perez will be on the outside line. Hamilton's there as well. Leclerc turns in, keeps the lead. Perez goes off the track, cuts back on. Hamilton cuts on the inside, and Hamilton takes the
Yes,
Perez.
Lewis!
Hamilton takes the Perez.
Ian
and
Birch
the
loves it.
Gallop through the inside, and the British fans just listen to that noise. They are cheering. All 142,000 are loving this as Perez dives to the
Wait.
inside into Village.
No.
Hamilton gonna stay there. Hamilton's off the track, and now he's defending from Charles Leclerc, who sends him round the outside. They back wheels, and here comes Fernando Alonso.
Josh was really running out of voice at this stage, wasn't he?
Leclerc's giving him no room. He falls in behind. Perez to second, Leclerc to third.
Not letting me
And here
message
comes
someone.
Fernando Alonso on the inside of Lewis Hamilton.
Discord.
I've got to stop. I'm losing my
Did
voice.
disconnect?
Just waiting for the crash.
And may I just say, there is now a 4.3 second gap.
And look at Lewis, he's been forced onto the gravel. Here comes Fernando Alonso, right round the outside and Stowe.
That's when I think Joshua Birch's heart rate was 200.
Hamilton defends the inside line.
Frederick Vesti's heart rate through cops, but I think that was Josh's one.
At Silverstone like I've never.
Then obviously we gotta go through Leclerc being brilliant. Chris McCarthy earlier on was saying that he's never seen anyone go round the outside of cops. Well, Leclerc has, but in Formula 3 you sometimes can see it, but it's a bit more rare. But that was brilliant by Leclerc though. But we are gonna cut to that moment, and then we'll cut back to us and wrap this up because we have been
As well, we've got half an hour. I think we might be all right.
1 hour,
Hamilton
22
round the
minutes so far.
outside and Stowe round the outside, trying to do what Mansell did on Piquet,
Yeah, but
and he did it
my
himself.
bit was gonna be
with
short.
Hamilton lining back in 2000.
We'll cut a tiny bit.
Leclerc moves to the left. Hamilton swings to the right.
We're just gonna get this moment, everyone, and then we'll move off. I just want to see where Hamilton gets ahead of Leclerc. So Leclerc's ahead. Do this part, and then just times the speed on 2, and we'll be there. There you go. We're gonna
There as well. Lando's
Josh
down
talking
to
rapidly.
And it's a was a cut off, but here comes Lewis Hamilton down to Brooklyn. He moves to the outside line as well. Leclerc's going over mid-deep. Lewis gets the cut back from.
Okay. Now back over to 1, and then we can let this play normal. There we go.
He sends it round the outside line. Leclerc can do nothing. Hamilton's got the grip on the
Oh
outside
yes, he
line.
can, Josh.
Goes onto the
Lewis.
podium. But here comes Charles Leclerc. Leclerc's looking to the inside. Hamilton shuts the door. Leclerc swaps sides to the right-hand side. He'll go round the outside of Cops corner. They flat out. Did they touch? No. Charles Leclerc takes third place.
Josh really
with the
did run out of
same move
voice.
Lewis Hamilton did to
Okay, right. Back over to us then. We're gonna be going back over to us. Now we're gonna shut that. You're gonna have a black screen for 1 second. We'll cut there to. Well, I'll see if we can get me and Jess on. If Josh T's camera's on, but I think I only got 2 prepared because I got this ready yesterday. I think I got this ready yesterday.
I would go on, but it turned out my train was delayed. But today my train wasn't delayed, so I got home. I got to the hotel at a reasonable time. Woo!
Right, I'll give. Okay, so, Jess, can we just quickly have a wrap up from you, and then I'll cut over, because I'll get some extra screens ready tomorrow. I'll make this full screen again, because we can see Discord.
I'm gonna be knackered tomorrow.
Right, Jess. So, final wrap up. So final thoughts on today before we head into tomorrow. What are we expecting to see tomorrow? What do you think the weather's going to do? Most likely it's going to stay dry, but it's British weather. Anything can happen. What do you think?
I've had their changeable conditions. I had a really good first couple of days. It's been great, pretty surreal. More of the same tomorrow, apart from I want McLaren to be winners. Thank you. Bye.
Well, hopefully McLaren are going to be in the fight. Josh T, a McLaren fan, what's your thoughts on it? We'll cut to my camera, but Josh T in the background right now, what's your thoughts on it? Thoughts on this weekend so far and going into tomorrow? If he's alive.
We'll just wrap up there.
Well, looks like we might need to. However, I think he might be a tiny bit annoyed because we looked at his reaction, but actually there wasn't any reaction to look to, sadly. So that was the... Oh, there he is. Hello, Josh D. What was your thoughts on today and going into tomorrow?
Who thought it was a good idea to give you this show? That's all I'll say.
Josh B. Huh. Yeah, Josh B doesn't seem like...
It was a bit more than expected.
Well,
It's an hour and 20 minutes.
Well, yesterday it was more professional. Today we've kind of gone a bit off topic, but however, this is what this channel's meant to be. We're meant to stream whenever we are free. It's basically our own channel. We don't have to go too professional, so we can be a bit silly on here. So I guess Josh won't mind this too much, but we'll get more onto topic tomorrow. However, we have a brilliant race coming up tomorrow, the British Grand Prix, and across all motorsports, we've had quite a lot of different stuff. We've had glamour at Monaco. We've had speed at the Indy 500. We've had all sorts of stuff. But this, I like to call it, it's for the fans, this Grand Prix. The fans make it what it is. The circuit is designed exactly what you want for racing. It's one of the racetracks that has it all. You have action there. It's one of the classics of Formula 1, where Formula 1 all began. You obviously have the fans. It's a circuit. It's a weekend that has everything, and it's been supported by the Formula 2, Formula 3, and the Porsche Super Cup, and a few other stuff as well. And we've been treated to brilliant action so far, but we have one more day of that to come, and that is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be race day here at Silverstone, one of the best race days in motorsport of the year. The British Grand Prix is the one we all look forward to here in the Formula 1 calendar, and we have arrived to the Formula 1 weekend. We have got through Saturday, we've got through Friday, and now it's time for the main event. We've been treated to some brilliant British Grand Prix over the years. I'm hoping that this one's going to be another one. It has it all, the British Grand Prix. Make sure you join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. for Lights Out, but you can join us at 1 p.m. for when we do start the live show. You can also join us for the feeder series as well, for Formula 3, Formula 2, the Porsche Super Cup, all on the main channel, so make sure you join us there. Also trackside as well, which we're hoping that we can get Jess on, but we will definitely make sure that we provide you with a lot of clips that Jess has captured over the last 2 days as well. But we want to thank you for joining us here across so far this weekend. We've got one more day of action, and it's hopefully going to be an absolute cracker. Silverstone always delivers, even in a season that Verstappen and Red Bull have won. Verstappen's won 8, Perez has won 2, Red Bull have won them all. But is anyone going to be able to deny them? Can Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri from 2nd and 3rd spring up some kind of surprise? We're going to have to find out with the McLarens. Can the Ferraris do anything? McLaren science. What about the Mercedes? Or will it be the usual winner, Max Verstappen? You're going to have to join